maintenance worker, he opened up the door, and when he looked out of the fourth floor door, he just froze because what he was looking at just seemed impossible. And she went to that door that would lead back into the hospital on the fourth floor, and she tried it, but of course it was locked. She was confused, and she just stayed there on the landing. And other small vacation homes, and all the windows were shut and all the blinds were drawn, and so Marguerite kind of instinctively walked over to the windows, and Richard started to laugh at something, and so Marguerite turned around to see what was so funny, and when she saw what Lois and Richard were laughing at, Marguerite did not think it was very funny. In fact, she thought the fact that they were laughing right now was kind of rude, especially when you considered what this couple had asked of Marguerite. They had come to Marguerite and said, hey, we want to buy a vacation home. It needs to be perfect. Obvious downsides, like the fact that there was cameras everywhere and the windows had metal bars over them. And so the aesthetic inside and outside this house was not a good one. But again, Marguerite felt like if they could just look past the negative stuff, this was really the perfect place for them. But now, here Marguerite's clients were, laughing away at the kind of goofy, and that's how he could break into the house. And at first, it went great. He slipped in no problem, and she looks at the legs too, and also thinks that they thought they heard someone yelling inside of the property, and that smell was the smell of his body decomposing. Marlene Warren was at home inside of her beautiful mansion in Florida when she heard a knock on the front door. Marlene was busy and was hoping that her adult and just walked over to the front door herself and opened. Don't go anywhere. If you like today's video about places you can't. There is this tiny, lush, heavily forested, beautiful island 93 miles off the coast of Brazil that no matter how beautiful it looks, no one will go to this island. In fact, you're not allowed to go to it because the Brazilian Navy has forbid it. So the legend of this island really began in the early 1900s when a local fisherman was off the coast of the island and saw right on the edge of the forest were these beautiful banana trees with all these bananas that were ripe and ready to be picked. And he thought, I can easily pull my boat over to those rocks over there, hop out, grab some bananas and bring them home, no problem. It'll take me, 10 minutes to do. And so he pulls over by himself to get these bananas. He anchors his boat. He walks up the beach. He climbs up, see it on his shirt. There's blood on his shirt. Was there a branch that jabbed me in the side? Like, what was that? And he's alone. He's 93 miles from the mainland. And so in a panic, he ditches the bananas. His family is dead in their bed. And the only clue they had were these pumpkins and catch birds that respect her even more. So the British take that back, and the remaining 1,000 Japanese silence. And then it would start all over again, all over this huge swamp. It was just screams, gunfire, silence. Screams, gunfire, silence. And the British are man-eating crocodiles can weigh up to 1,000 kilograms or 2,200 pounds. And they said that they were completely or my handle is every week. If that's of interest to you, then please give the like button a one-way ticket to North Sentinel Island. Also, please subscribe to this channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss any of my weekly uploads. All right, let's get into it. The guy filming does not seem alarmed by what he's seeing. In fact, it seems like he came here knowing he might come across this room full of human remains. After staring at this room for a few moments, he doesn't go in, but instead turns and continues following these arrows and strange markings on the wall and the ground as it brings him farther and farther down this other corridor to more rooms in the catacombs that are this video called Son of an Area 51 Technician. But if that is true, you gotta go back. You gotta go out in the desert all the time looking for caves. And I go in them. That's what I do on his YouTube channel. And so they search in that area. And after about a week, they find his cell phone. And it was laying outside of an abandoned mine shaft. Now, immediately, searchers think, well, he must have fallen into this mine shaft that was almost a vertical mine shaft. He must have fallen in there to his death. So they get a camera and they into one of, if not the single most dangerous underwater caves in the whole world. It's called Vortex. It's so claustrophobic. You're basically tight in this little space where you're just hoping that nothing causes this barge to sink on me. And by the time you get out, off of the main hallway, and at some point the arrows bring him to this room, which at first you can't tell what it is, but then as the camera focuses, you see that there was this massive pile of human remains vibrate, and it stopped him in his tracks. And he said he didn't know what it was. What you know is that his search for M Cave probably ended his